Ladies and gentlemen, former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted by a grand jury on 2 counts, alleged false statement and alleged obstruction of justice. Can we get the American flag in the chat for Dan Bongino and Kash Patel laying it down? I hope they perp walk this dude in front of the entire world. This is what we voted for. All right, let's go. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this here. All right. Okay. Comey is being charged in relation to making false statements under oath to the Senate Judiciary Committee, where on September 30th, 2020, he lied, saying he did not authorize the leaks about President Trump to the New York Times. These are felony charges, and he faces over a decade in prison. Here, Todd, read the actual thing for us, please.
Here we go. Count 1. On or about September 30th, 2020, in the Eastern District of Virginia, the defendant, James B. Comey Jr., willfully and knowingly made a materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statement in a matter within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch of the government of the United States by falsely stating to a U.S. Senator during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that he, James B. Comey Jr., had not authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in the news report regarding an FBI investigation concerning person 1. 2, the statement was false because, as James B. Comey Jr. then and there knew, he in fact had authorized person 3 to serve as an anonymous source in news reporting regarding an FBI investigation concerning person 1. All in violation of 18 United States Code Section 1001A2. On or about September 30th, 2020, in the Eastern District of Virginia, the defendant James B. Comey Jr. did corruptly endeavor to influence, obstruct, and impede the due and proper exercise of power of inquiry under which an investigation was being had before the Senate Judiciary Committee by making false statements and misleading statements before that committee.
Woo! Don't drop the soap, James. Don't drop the soap, James. Don't drop the soap. James B. Comey. James B. Comey to the shower room with the soap on a rope.
There you go, Charlie.
There we go. And then a nod to Charlie. Back in 2020, he said, retweet if James Comey should be prosecuted and charged for what he did to General Mike Flynn. Absolutely. You're going to get your wish, Charlie. He's going bye-bye for a long time. However, though, after being indicted, this is a video that James Comey decided to make. Now, remind you, James Comey has not been like non-active on social media over the past year. You know, that whole 86-47 thing that took off? Apparently, he's a social media expert now, and this is what he had to say. But before we hit play, let's get some American flags in the chat for Dan and Kash laying it down, doing their job. Play it, Todd. Let's go.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either.
You're going to
Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
Your heart is broken because some 360-pound gay former child predator is just going to love you, buddy.
Years, man.
Just going to love you, buddy.
Bubba is waiting.
Oh, man.
Bubba is waiting.
You want your cornbread? That's what's fixing to happen to you, buddy. I'm telling you. All right. Okay. All right. This is Bongino. This is Dan. Let's give it up for Dan. Hit that like button for Dan. Hit the American flag for Dan. This is what he had to say in response to former FBI Director James Comey. What are you doing to me, Todd?
I thought this was a video. It's not a video.
All right.
My bad.
Quote, when Director Patel and I took on our leadership positions in the FBI, we promised the American people accountability. Promises matter.
Oh,
Boom.
love that man.
Dan, the
I
man.
love you, man.
Dan is the GOAT. The GOAT. The GOAT. But don't worry, we got Kash Patel had something to say about this as well. FBI Director Kash Patel says this about James Comey indictment, quote, "Everyone, especially those in positions of power, will be held to account, no matter their perch. No one is above the law." Wink, wink to Comey there. Today, your FBI took another step in its promise of full accountability. For far too long, previous corrupt leadership and their enablers weaponized federal law enforcement, damaging once proud institutions and severely eroding public trust. Every day, we continue to fight to earn that trust back, and under my leadership, this FBI will confront the problem head on. Nowhere was this politicization of law enforcement more blatant than during the Russiagate hoax, a disgraceful chapter in history we continue to investigate and expose.
Yeah. And can I just say, I see a lot of people in the chat saying, he won't go to jail. They'll get libtard justice. I said it early on, weeks and weeks ago. Listen, just charge them. I want to see them in court. That's all. You've done your part. Like Kash, Dan, even Blondie, you've done your job. You got him in front of a jury. You're going to get him in front of a jury. That's all I'm asking to do. That's it. Perp welcome. That's all I want.
You want to know how he ends up in jail? We win the 2026 midterm.
Facts.
There you go. Shut up and do what you need to do to help us win 2026.
Yep.
That's how these people end up in prison. Attorney General Pam Bondi said no one is above the law. Today's indictment reflects this Department of Justice commitment to hold those who abuse position of power accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case. Pam, you still got a long way to go to win me back, but this is a good first step. So, we'll take it. All right. No, go to the longer version. I want to go to Colin Ruggs. Thing here. Let's just play a little bit and let's just remind everybody a little bit of what this is actually about, because I realize some people might have forgotten. Hit play.
Welcome back. Breaking right now. Tonight, a major update to a story we brought to you earlier in the hour. A grand jury has just handed down an indictment for former FBI Director James Comey. The Justice Department accuses Comey of lying to Congress while under oath back in 2020. Let's bring in David Spunt with all the breaking details. David, what can you tell us?
Well, Jillian, we are waiting to get the actual details of the indictment. We're just told that an indictment has been handed up against the former FBI Director, James Comey. So I don't want to speculate on the actual charges yet until I see the paper in hand. That's the only responsible thing to do. We're waiting to see if there's any sort of comment from the Justice Department. As of now, there is no comment from the Justice Department, but we have been reporting all week that a grand jury has been impaneled in the Eastern District of Virginia, specifically in Alexandria, Virginia, looking at 2020 testimony. James Comey testified before Congress remotely from his home in Virginia, because this was during the throes of COVID, before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and apparently
this guy sucks. Get him. Get this loser off my. Okay,
sorry.
We already know what they are. Okay, Tim Pool put it here. It's an open and shut case. Let's play the clip. Here we go.
Not been verified.
I don't know whether it was Brennan. I remember being told that the group's view was it was significant enough and consistent enough with other intelligence that it ought to be included, but it wasn't sufficiently corroborated to be in the body of the intelligence community assessment. So they put a brief summary of it in an annex.
Not been verified.
There you go. James Comey telling Congress in September 2020 that the Steele dossier wasn't used in the 2016 intelligence community assessment on the Russia hoax. That was the left saying that, right? This is Tulsi Gabbard's release from July showing the Steele dossier was directly cited and that Obama intel officials overruled senior intel officials who told them it was garbage. So in other words, James Comey lied. Simple as that.
Yeah.
James Comey lied. Oh, how do you know that he lied? Well, his son, the moment after the indictment happened, this is how you know your whole family knows that you're full of garbage. James Comey's son-in-law, who prosecuted January 6ers, by the way, has resigned his position as assistant U.S. attorney after the former FBI director's indictment. I wonder why someone would do that? I wonder what could possibly make somebody be like, uh-oh, I got to get out of here.
All I can say is we warned you. Like, we warned you.
Yes. So the bigger reason to show you this photo is because there's a lot of people on the right that have very short memories. And I've had many people say, hey, the only thing that concerns me just a little bit is it does feel like maybe possibly we're going after political adversaries. And I said, no, we're not going after political adversaries. We are going after criminals. Okay. This was going after political adversaries. This was the
100%.
Biden administration that tried to lock Donald Trump up for 700 years. Remember that? 700 years they were trying to lock Donald Trump up. Hey, man, this isn't cancel culture. As Joe Biden would say, no one's above the law. As Luke Skywalker would say, no one is above the law. Harry Sisson, Keith Olbermann, who is actively threatened to murder Scott Jennings, by the way. He should be locked up in a mental institution.
real.
Here you go. All these people saying no one is above the law. Well, that goes for... was this Elon that posted this?
Yeah.
Who posted this?
Elon posted.
And then, of course, Elon AI generated Donald Trump with seashells saying F-A-F-O. And you just love to see it. If you think that James Comey should spend the rest of his life in prison, give us some American flags in the chat.